Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. The day after the main event of UFC 312, we have a lot to go over. First, I want to go ahead and give you guys my initial reaction to this fight because I think that this is a very interesting performance by Sean Strickland, which I definitely expected a lot more from. Now, I think that this was just a cruise victory for Dricus Du Plessis, if I'm being completely honest. I really do think that Dricus Du Plessis kind of picked up on the way that Sean Strickland kind of approaches the fight. And I pretty much said this in my predictions video. I said that Sean Strickland has a lot, in his system, in his base, that could make him pretty effective in this fight if he uses it correctly. But I just don't think he would. And I think it's pretty freaking evident that now more than ever, it's not Sean Strickland. It's his freaking coach. What's his name? Eric Nilsson, I think that's his name. We're gonna go ahead and talk about that a little bit later, but let's go ahead and talk about the fight itself. I think that Dricus Du Plessis honestly just cruised to a victory in this one. I don't think that he did anything particularly different in this fight compared to the last rounds that he had in the price previous. I just think that he kind of understood how Sean Strickland was going to approach this matchup, and Sean Strickland fought Dricus almost the exact same way, and I think that Sean Strickland needs to work on a couple of things, especially with his bladed, very narrow stance. I honestly don't think that Sean Strickland is fighting to his forte, if I'm just being completely honest. I think that Sean Strickland, just having a completely boxing uh kind of set of offensive schemes is not working that well for him, obviously, because this is MMA. This is not freaking boxing. How many kicks did you guys see Sean Strickland throw this fight? I didn't see him throw not one kick. And I think that if Sean Strickland throws at least a couple of roundhouse kicks, it could significantly help him, win fights, because teeps aren't enough. Throwing front teeps aren't enough. Throwing rear leg teeps aren't enough either. I think Sean Strickland definitely needs to work on his kicking game a lot more, and just to throw a little bit of an extra disposition out there, because he was just so predictable, so Captain Obvious. Dricus Du Plessis was just able to pick him apart. There was some points in the fight where Dricus Du Plessis was pretty much throwing kicks, and Sean did a decent job at checking a lot of those kicks, But what I didn't see Sean do is check kicks and return. That could be a simple thing that Sean Strickland could have been working on. Is checking a kick and returning those kicks. That's something that we see in almost any other sport. Is a check return. We see that in Muay Thai. We see that in kickboxing. We see other fighters do it in the UFC. Peter Yan, Murad Valasvili. Who else is a guy that checks kicks and returns? Justin Gaethje even does that a couple times. But I think that a check return for Sean Strickland, because he does have such a defensive base, could have helped him out a lot. Now, in this fight, we saw some interesting things go down, and I wrote a note about this because this was a very interesting moment in the fight. Now, I think it was round 3, round 4, I really don't remember. Sean Strickland got his freaking nose broken. He got his nose broken. And in that round specifically, I thought that that was his best freaking round. He landed some really good shots on Dricus Du Plessis. And I think that's the round that some of the judges probably gave, or at least I think one judge gave to Sean Strickland, was whenever he did get his nose broken. Now, something we got to keep in mind is that Sean Strickland has a defensive narrow base. All that tells you is that Sean Strickland has a defensive system. Whenever you guys have a narrow stance, you are usually in a defensive position. When you guys have a bladed stance, you guys are usually in a defensive position. Why? Because when you're bladed, your target becomes smaller, right? You're not straight, you're not squared like a regular MMA fighter. That your target's just bigger. You're bladed, so it's like your freaking target system, your abdominals, even your freaking face, the way they have to hit you has to be a lot more precise. And it's crazy that Sean Strickland started finding more success when he started being a defensive fighter, whenever he started becoming more of a counter fighter, which we saw in the round where he got his nose broken. But why? Because he has a defensive fucking base. Whenever you guys have a narrow stance, you land on your base more, so that means you're able to counter faster. You're able to counter first. You're able to throw first before after the initial set of engagement. And that's something that we saw from Sean Strickland do in the round that he got his nose broken, that for some reason we didn't see freaking more of. Instead, what Eric Nielsen told Sean Strickland to do was to press the fight. Why? Why? Now, I understand that in MMA, if you're not pressing the fight all the time, you do fall behind in the judges' scorecards. But the way to initiate offense from your opponent would obviously make sense was for you to throw first and then look for a counter off their counter. And it's just something that we didn't see Sean Strickland do too much, is he didn't make uh Dricus Du Plessis become ultra offensive. They just kind of stood in front of each other in the 50-50, and it was just this weird fight that I was just like, what is going on with Sean Strickland? What the fuck are you doing? You're going to lose this fight if you just stand in front of Dricus Du Plessis and you make him walk backwards. Because all Dricus was doing, I mean, a large majority of the time in rounds 1, 2, 3, was he was just literally moving backwards and attacking Sean Strickland's legs. I don't know what Sean Strickland was thinking. Dricus Du Plessis literally was walking backwards, and Sean Strickland was getting his fucking legs chewed up. Now, granted, like I said, Sean Strickland did do a decent job at checking some of those kicks, but some of those kicks he did not check. And some of those kicks did land flush on Sean Strickland's legs, and I know they freaking hurt like hell. So I don't know why Sean Strickland continued to just walk forward, walk forward, walk forward, walk forward against someone like Dricus Du Plessis, which all he had to do was just take a fundamental step back. This is just fundamentals, ladies and gentlemen. Dricus Du Plessis wasn't doing anything insane. He was literally just taking a step back and fucking throwing leg kicks. And for whatever reason, Eric Nielsen just thought that Sean Strickland just needed to press the attack, and he just became Captain Obvious. Like his uh theme, his path to victory just became so freaking obvious to the point that you kind of know how to prepare for someone like Sean Strickland. And in my honest opinion, I kind of knew that Dricus Du Plessis, like I said in the previous video, that he was gonna, pretty much pick Sean Strickland apart. As good as a base that Sean Strickland has, and as good as a point fighter that Sean Strickland is, which I did mention in the video before, I just thought that Dricus Du Plessis was just gonna do simple shit, like simple techniques, simple tactics to find dominant positions. And boy, oh boy, did Dricus find dominant positions literally for like 70% of the entire freaking fight, which was very impressive to see. Now, of course, the internet wouldn't be the internet if we didn't have folks like this saying stuff like Sean Strickland is the worst UFC fighter to ever win a belt. I will never forgive Izzy for making him relevant. The only reason he's got fans is because he says some edgy shit teenagers think is cool. Back to irrelevance. Look, I think that this person, I don't know who this is. He has a whole lot of likes and a whole lot of retweets or whatever. Um, Obviously, this person doesn't really know too much about MMA, nor does he know too much about combat sports as a whole. Sean Strickland is a good fighter. I think he's a good striker. He just needs to add a little bit things more to his striking repertoire. He needs to master some things and maybe even get a different freaking coach. But Sean Strickland is he's a good striker. He is a very, very good striker. I just think that he's just Captain Obvious, and he just makes really bad tactical decisions, if I'm just being completely honest. Um, as far as him saying some edgy shit to be like whatever liked by the people or teenagers or whatever, look, there is some truth to that. But I think that Sean Strickland is he's just going ahead and buying into the entire idea of being like like a flamboyant type of fighter, and he's just buying into that. I think that is that a bad take? I don't think it is, because at the end of the day, some of these fighters just got to do these sort of things because they want to be able to put fights that people give a fuck about. All right, I also saw this tweet that I thought was pretty interesting. 19 likes, 800 retweets. Sean, you're down 4 rounds. You got to do something. Sean Strickland, of course, coming forward in his Muay Thai march, just throwing or lifting that front knee. Anyways, I think that Sean Strickland, like I said, should definitely implement other things. Maybe even get a new freaking coach because for some reason Sean Strickland is just the most predictable fighter in the world. I mean, if Sean Strickland were to implement like a southpaw position because he is a natural counter striker, like we saw whenever he did get his nose broken, he found a lot of success. I think that he could be a really good fighter. You know, for some reason, Sean Strickland just likes to be predictable, and he doesn't have the smartest or the best advice whenever he came to the corner for whatever freaking reason. I think that Sean Strickland definitely needs to drill some things, maybe even throw some roundhouse kicks. I think that would definitely help him out a lot. But right now, his boxing is literally doing all the work. The teeps aren't enough. I think the teeps are doing pretty well. Because for Dricus Du Plessis, they were definitely breaking his base a lot. I think it was like round 2 where Sean Strickland threw like 3 front teeps in a row, and they all broke. They literally all broke Dricus Du Plessis' base, which was impressive to see, but that isn't enough. You know, like I said, a check return could be really good for Sean Strickland. A catch and return, even from the boxing stance, could be more. Just be more than just a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 hook. You know, I think that Sean Strickland could be, you know, a very effective striker. He just needs to find the right system for him at a championship level, because obviously he is good enough to be a ranked fighter. He is good enough to be, you know, in the top 10, top 5. But it's like the little things that make a big difference in a championship level fight. And hopefully we do see Sean Strickland make some adjustments in the future. I honestly don't think he will. He's like super old at this point. But I mean, you never know. There's Glover Teixeira, who became champion at like 40 years old. Not to say that Sean Strickland has the capabilities of doing that, but I just want to see growth from Sean Strickland from a overall IQ point of view that makes any freaking sense, because we did not see the best decision making last night from Sean Strickland whatsoever. Sean Strickland, though, did address the fact that, you know, this fight was a pretty tough one, but let's go ahead and listen to exactly what he had to say.
Hey, what up, guys? We've been here once or twice. I'm so grateful for you guys' support, man. You guys are so awesome. Win or lose, you guys always ride, and I appreciate you, Dricus. Fucking hats off, man. Hell of a fight. Broke my nose like 6 places. Silver lining is your nose is so broken, it's really easy to reset. So, you know, that was a new experience. But, you know, I'll be quick. I get so many messages from fans, friends, family, like, hold your head up, it's okay. And you guys, man, like, I'm good, dude. Like, losing sucks, but like, we all lose in life. And I talk to so many people, you know, whether they lose their job, their girlfriend breaks up with them, and they just find themselves in this hole. But like me, I love the misery. Like, I love the suffering, because when you're miserable, when you're in pain, when suffering, the moment that's gone, and it will end, and it will end, and there will be a new day, a better day. Life's good. So, you know, I'm grateful, and being grateful kind of keeps my head up. And, you know, for you guys going through it, look at me, just, you know, broke my nose in front of millions of people. Fucking sucks, lost a fight, and I still gotta wake up tomorrow, hold my head up, and be like, hey man, it's a new day. Gotta stack up and be a man. So for you guys going through it, look at me, and, you know, I hope that fucking your day gets better.
Good words from Sean Strickland. He seems to be in good spirits. What we could expect after this is maybe Sean Strickland probably takes a long layoff. He's probably going to be out for a bit. And that's what I expect. We're probably going to see Dricus Du Plessis take on either Alex Pereira or Khamzat Chimaev. I think that we see Dricus Du Plessis take on Khamzat Chimaev first before we see Alex Pereira taking on Dricus Du Plessis. And if Dricus does fight Alex Pereira, I think it's going to be at 205 at a light heavyweight, if I'm just being completely honest. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this entire fight down in the comment section below. As always, it's a pleasure. Peace out and have a good one.